at the Mandalay Bay for the national anthems of Mexico and the United States. Michael Buff is making the announcement in the ring right now because Oscar De La Hoya and Yoy Boy Campos are going to be going at it in just a few minutes.
Mexicanos a grito de guerra, el acero apresta y el bridón, y retiembla en su centro la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Y retiembla en su centro la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Ciño patria, tus sienes de oliva, de la paz el arcángel divino, y en el cielo tu eterno destino por el dedo de Dios se escribió. Mas si osare un extraño enemigo profanar con su palma tu suelo, pienso, patria querida, el cielo un soldado en cada hijo te dio, un soldado en cada hijo te dio. Mexicanos al grito de guerra, el acero a prestar y el bridón, y retiembla en su centro la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the Star-Spangled Banner to be performed by a special guest here who's come from South Carolina, entertainer and singer, Ms. Kathy Mason.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Thank you.
We are back inside the Mandalay Bay Event Center for our featured attraction tonight. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape. Oscar De La Hoya comes in 30 years old. Hard to believe he's 30 now. Bernardo Osuna, Yoy Boy Campos, 31. You see the Height just about even coming into this. That's unusual for Oscar. He usually towers over most of his opponents. And the reach advantage goes to Oscar De La Hoya in this fight. Here are the rules they'll be fighting under. The 3 knockdown rule is not in effect. No standing 8 count. You cannot be saved by the bell in any round. Only the referee can stop the fight. 3 judges, 10-point must system, and they go to the scorecards after round 4 in case there's an accidental foul. So that's what people have filled up this building to see, not only Eric Terrible Morales, but of course Oscar De La Hoya, one of the most popular athletes on the planet, and a man who has seemed to have found, new life in the sport of boxing, taking on Yuri Boy Campos, a man who's been in against everybody. This will be his 86th professional fight for Campos. And he is a knockout specialist. He's knocked out 68 of those opponents.
And as
there he is.
Ramon Yuri Boy Campas coming in with the Yaqui tradition from Sonora, from Navajoa, Sonora, Mexico. Luis Ramon El Yuri Boy Campas. Yuri Boy basically means the white guy, because in the Yaqui tradition, they're dark-skinned, and this young man growing up in Navajoa was seen as the fairer skin. So that's the nickname, Yuri Boy Campas, and he's a great knockout artist, like you said, and that's the chance he has tonight. He has to land that powerful right hand against Oscar De La Hoya. I guess that's been the prescription for victory against Oscar throughout, but nobody's been able to actually do it in terms of knocking him out.
Yuri Boy is the former IBF junior middleweight champion, had 3 defenses. Former Mexican welterweight champion for 3 defenses. He's been in 7 world title fights, 4 wins, 3 losses, also known as Senior Excitement. And he's told us this. He says the bell's going to ring, and we're going to go at it. Nothing fancy, just fighting.
Nothing fancy is true. Who is fancy? It's this man who's about to come into the ring, and it's going to erupt, so I'll let you listen to it yourself. Oscar De La Hoya at the Mandalay Bay Event Center.
As he comes in, you'll hear the crescendo rise higher and higher. Fireworks just scared the you-know-what out of everybody around here.
Look at this man, though. Oscar De La Hoya intent on defending his championship. Both tonight here, the WBC, WBA, both on the line against a knockout artist as is Yuri Boy Campas. And here he is in the middle of the ring. And there's the applause.
One of the most popular athletes of our time. 21 wins and 2 losses in world title fights. 16 world title defenses. The 1992 Olympic gold medalist. He's defeated 14 world champions in his time. And here's the announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino of Las Vegas, Top Rank Incorporated, in association with your undisputed, undefeated King of Beers, Budweiser, is proud to present 12 rounds of boxing for the WBC, WBA, Junior Middleweight Championship of the World. Sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission Chairman Dr. Luther Mack, Executive Director Mark Ratner. The 3 judges at ringside scoring this contest on the 10-point system will be Hubert Earl, Tommy Kazmarek, and Paul Smith. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, Vic Draculich. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing red trimmed with green and weighing in at 153 1/2 pounds. His professional record, 80 victories, including 68 knockouts against 5 defeats. From Navajoa, Mexico, the challenger, former junior middleweight champion of the world, Yuriboy Campas. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the black trunks and weighing in officially at 154 pounds. He captured Olympic gold in 1992 and now has a professional record consisting of 35 victories, including 28 knockouts with only 2 defeats, and he has consistently been rated among the best fighters in the world. From East Los Angeles, the former junior lightweight, former lightweight, former super lightweight, and former 2-time welterweight champion of the world, the reigning, defending, junior middleweight champion of the world, El Niño de Oro, the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya.
All right, gentlemen, this is for both the WBC and the WBA super welterweight titles. You've received your instruction in the dressing room. Again, I want to caution you. Any punches below this point are going to be called low. Any punches below this point are going to be called low. With that, are there any questions from the challenger? Any questions from the champion? All right, remember, back here. Obey my commands, protect yourselves at all times. Go back to your corner.
Final instructions from our referee tonight, Vic Draculich. First time Oscar De La Hoya has been in the ring since his career-defining knockout of Fernando Vargas as he moved up to 154. Oscar's nose was bloody in that fight in the 5th round, but he outboxed Vargas in 7th, 8th, and knocked him down in the 11th. And here we go. Amala Massengill along with Bernardo Osuna, round 1 scheduled for 12 from Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas. De La Hoya is wearing black trunks tonight with red trim. Campas is in red trunks with green trim. Sort of a Christmas-like effect. We'll see if Christmas comes early for Campas, if he can pull off a huge upset. And already Oscar warned for a low blow, and Campas not too happy about it.
There's also a headbutt, and Campas didn't seem too happy with beating over his left eye. Oscar, not the worst for wear from the first clash of heads, but a little bit of what we're going to see tonight. The jab of Oscar De La Hoya, the hunter being Ramon Yuriboy Campas. And if the jab's working, then the body shots are going to come for the Golden Boy, who really needs to make a statement here, Alan, because it's a fight that many people really didn't feel should come off. And so they expect, much like Erik Morales' fight, for this to be defining for Oscar De La Hoya.
We'll also find out if he took his training as seriously as he said he did. He said there are no easy opponents, and we know from watching Yuriboy over the years, he is certainly not going to go out there and give you an easy time. He's going to come forward the entire time. Now, Oscar, since he's been working with Floyd Mayweather Sr., has developed a lot of different tools that we saw in the Vargas fight. He's been throwing a lot of right hands. He's always had the jab, but of course the knockout punch was his signature left hook, which can be thrown in close from 6 inches away and can put you down pretty quick with a lot of power.
I think the key here for Yuriboy Campas is he's going to get hit anyway. He might as well let his hands go, because if not, then he's got no chance against an Oscar De La Hoya, who's going to keep doing that, peppering him with the jab, and when he has a chance, try to assert the fact that he now feels he has a right hand in his arsenal.
De La Hoya, early in his career, complained about slow starts. He did have trouble getting through first rounds and making mistakes, but he's corrected that. It's a good combination to the head. Oscar threw 3 punches that landed, a left, right, left. And Campas has not been able to match up with the power. What a hard right. And Campas trying to answer.
Beautiful left hooks by Oscar De La Hoya, then following up with a right cross. And Yuriboy Campas somewhat breathing through the mouth at this point. He felt those punches. He was able to assimilate them pretty well, but it's just giving you an idea as to the speed of Oscar De La Hoya to go with that power, and how Campas is going to do during the 12 rounds that this fight is scheduled to try to counteract that.
30 seconds to go round 1. De La Hoya showing Campas what power he has and what kind of arsenal. Vic Draculich stepping in and separating him. Ooh, there's a right hand that just whistled past his nose.
Not before the jab landed crisply as his the standard in an Oscar De La Hoya fight. You know you're going to get tagged with that left jab, so you might as well do something about it. And Jody Boy's got to figure it out, and he's got to stop throwing punches after Vic Draculich steps in.
He almost hit Vic Draculich. I haven't seen a referee knocked out lately.
Good round. You box real good. Just keep boxing like that, man. You're gonna break him down here in a minute. It ain't gonna be but a minute.
Now I can interpret for Mayweather for you.
Te conectó 4 golpes y tiene las manos colgadas. Te está haciendo finta, como te ve con las manos colgadas así. Está manejando combinaciones completas. Tú le estás dando los huecos para que tengas mucho cuidado. Trabajamos mucho todo eso.
Let's see the headbutt that occurred at the beginning of the round. Disconcerted Campas more than it did Oscar De La Hoya. They both kind of step away, but Campas was disgusted. And you know what? He's already worried about being cut. And it doesn't make sense because he's got enough to worry about with Oscar De La Hoya across the ring.
Good first round. Good Oscar's way.
He asserted himself.
Nice combination, yeah. Oscar has got a very charming demeanor outside the ring, and he's a very personable fellow you love to hang out with. As a matter of fact, he plays golf left-handed. I don't know if you knew that. So he's probably more of a natural left-hander who fights right, which makes that left hand so devastating. But in the ring, you see this change come over. Look at his face and look at his intensity. He is having fun, and he is looking to do some damage. He has this killer instinct that all great champions have to have. Good right hand. If that finds its mark, Yoy Boy is going to go down in a pile.
There's a combination. Too much speed, too much precision by Oscar. Nice left hook by Yoy Boy Campas, but the right hand up in a defensive posture by Oscar De La Hoya. And that's what he's got. He's frustrating Yoy Boy Campas.
Second time.
Vic's telling him to stop. They're not listening, but Vic's going to have to step in. He just can't yell it from the side. If he wants him to stop, he's going to have to step in and break him. Not going to tell him how to do his business, but
that's what he has to do.
That's what he has to do.
Pretty much.
Well, I wouldn't step in there either with De La Hoya and Yoy Boy throwing punches.
And I think he kind of heard the last punch of the first round buzz right by him, so he's going to be a little tentative about stepping in between the two guys. He's going to try to be as verbal as he can be before he actually has to put his body in between these two characters. That body shot, and we see Oscar has the padding up a little bit over the left rib, so I mean he's trying to protect himself because he knows that Campas is a body puncher.
Oscar has hurt his shoulder in his career at one time, and very conscious of that. I saw him fight almost a one-handed fight one night when that shoulder went out.
Then the hand also had to have surgery on.
Had to have surgery on his hand.
Whoa.
Right hand. That's that right hand that he's been talking about in the preview shows. The one that we did, he was talking about his, people are going to see his right hand, but you know, the beautiful thing about Oscar, at age 30, he's found a trainer that he believes in completely, Floyd Mayweather Sr., and Mayweather has made him a better fighter, there's no doubt about it.
I spoke with Floyd about that. He said, you know what? I don't need Oscar. Oscar wants me, and that's the difference. Oscar needed somebody to assert himself in camp, to teach him new things, and someone to wake him up in the morning and say, it's not about you wanting to train, it's about you going to train.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that Floyd Mayweather brings to the table. I mean, if you don't want to train, he's out.
Campos trying to mount some offense here. Oscar's been cautious in this round, but there goes another combination. Those are going to start telling on Campos because he's going to get hit. That right hand has really been impressive from Oscar. Now there's a punch that almost got to. Now they're mixing it up. Oscar jumping on him pretty good.
And look at that mouthpiece by Campos. He's already tired because of the body shots and the uppercuts that Oscar's been able to land. So he needs to keep the mouthpiece in there and do something of his own. There he is trying to let his hands loose to finish up strong this second round. That's what he needs to do. He's going to get hit either way, but he needs to land that right, as does Oscar.
Log on to TopRank.com or MBFight.com to order your Night of Champions fight gear. From t-shirts to hats to windbreakers, place your order now. Log on to TopRank.com or MBFight.com.
Allen's already wearing his t-shirt.
Oh yeah, I wear it everywhere I go. And my hat and I wear boxing gloves when I'm doing these. People don't know that I wear boxing gloves when I'm announcing
fights. Take them off before you drive.
Just in case I have to step in there and, you know,
give some to Vic.
Oh, I gotta go open up a can of whoop ass in somebody. You know, I'm always ready to go. Anyway, you know, I thought maybe Oscar took some chances in that round, which either he didn't have to take or he's not afraid to take. Which one do you think it is? I don't think he's afraid.
I don't think he respects Yuri Boy Campas, and that can be a downfall.
That's what I'm saying.
If he's not careful, because I saw 2 or 3 right hands that Campas landed that didn't land flush, but they're close. So Oscar can't give himself the luxury, or can't give Campas the luxury of landing the right, and also the left hook. They're a great counter by Oscar De La Hoya.
Yeah, good counter punch. That right hand has been his most effective tool, but usually when he puts somebody down, and Campos is shaking his head like that didn't hurt me, so usually, man, it hurt him.
Yeah. If you acknowledge it, it's because you felt it. Nice left hook, double left hook.
Double left hook from Campos, and then Oscar fights back with a flashing combination to the chin.
Mouthpiece comes flying out. Vic Dracovic steps in, but I think he took Campas' best punch and then gave him a little bit of his own. So Oscar looking impressive here in the 3rd round because he was able to take the punch of Campas and then come back with something of his own.
Well, this works to Campos' advantage to have a little rest here because he was getting pounded on pretty good.
Well, he looked after taking his time also in the corner, a veteran of the ring.
As I was saying, usually when Oscar finishes the business, it's a left hook from nowhere. He'll work off that jab and actually back it up with a hook. Good right hand from De La Hoya.
And it's because Campas has had his mouth open for so long that the mouthpiece keeps flying up. He's had it since about the 1st round. The first combination that was landed flush by Oscar De La Hoya.
Tell him to bite down.
There it is. I think they changed the mouthpiece. Now a blue one going in, maybe a little bit smaller so he can bite down on it.
Oscar landing hard shots to the head. Good right hand once again. Oscar just out there teeing off.
Target practice, that's what this is. We knew he was going to come in at 1 speed forward, no head movement. Instead of bobbing and saying no, Campas needs to try to mount an offensive against Oscar De La Hoya as he is there.
He's trying to come in and land punches. Oscar doing a good job defensively, staying away. Good movement. Now he goes to the body, uppercut, then to the head. Campos can take a lot of punishment when you've had as many pro fights as he has. You know what it's like to be in there against the best.
Nice uppercut with the left, then went a little bit low with the same hand and then up again. So he's shown a little bit with the left hand, and Oscar De La Hoya is really more worried about the right. So Campos taking the little bit that Oscar's giving him and trying to maximize on it.
The reason Campos' mouthpiece keeps flying out is because he's opening his mouth to breathe.
Really, I mean, if you look at his nose, it's easy to see why he can't breathe through it. The shoulder by Oscar De La Hoya. Vic Dracovic with the warning for him. Throwing the left hook now, Yuri Boy Campas. You look at these 2 guys and you see them on the street. Who looks like the fighter, Adam?
Some people say that Campos looks better. When is it? Going out than he did going in?
Time that the mouthpiece keeps flying out with the left hook by Oscar De La Hoya. Might be deduction time by Vic Dracovic. There it is, the warning. Next time it comes out,
It's going to be a point. It will be a point. Fuck.
Should have been that time. I believe he should have stopped right there. He can't breathe. That's why he's doing that. I think his nose, you know, like you were saying.
broken in the 1st round because...
Well, each time that mouthpiece is down flying, it's taking the momentum away from De La Hoya. I mean, now Campos is getting peppered with the body shots. Final seconds.
Another excellent round for Oscar De La Hoya, who looked impressive. Campos had mounted a little bit of an offensive in the 2nd round, but it was just not enough. It's spurts that he has, and Oscar's consistently knocking him out. And there you go. The man who actually beat Oscar De La Hoya in the ring, Sugar Shane Mosley. Not the WNBA. Who's got next? Sugar Shane's got next.
Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4 here.
You count him, he keeps dishing him out, and Yuri Boy Campas keeps taking him. The mouthpiece keeps flying out. And Campas is a valiant man, but he really just doesn't have enough boxing.
Do it. And sometimes drop 2 right in the body there. He ain't gonna do it. You're gonna hit him every time you hit him right, and you see you can't miss him. Put the match on him right there, then drop the right hand, okay? Come on.
Floyd is saying you can't miss him.
Is he true?
Yeah, I'm trying to help out the viewers. I speak Mayweather.
What's going on?
Well,
Running up just not being quick enough to get out of the ring.
This is all wacky tonight. It's wacky, Bernardo. Got mouthpieces flying. People can't get out of the ring. Oscar's peppering this guy.
Well, that part we expect, but the last part goes without saying. But the first three, pretty much.
Well, Oscar seems to be having fun out there. And of course, he said he wants to stay sharp for later. Good left hand. Oscar really wants to mix it up, and I think that's more to Campas's liking. Oscar probably should stay outside the sharpshooter a little bit more, but hey, he's the one doing the fighting.
And you see a little bit of inflammation in the right eye of Yuri Boy Campas, and that's a product of the excellent jab of Oscar De La Hoya. Then he tries to cross him up with the right, which he does finally there. The body-to-body is a fight that's going to be more favorable to Yuri Boy Campas. You've got to take into account, Alan, Yuri Boy is willing to take punches, but you know what? If Oscar lets him open up, that's what he can't do.
That's right, because Yuri Boy's absorbed a lot of punishment. As I said, he was gasping for air, is why that mouthpiece wouldn't stay in the last round. We're in the round 4, scheduled for 12 here at Mandalay Bay.
And Alan, our crack producing team is telling me that prior to the beginning of round 3, Oscar said he hurt his hand. We know Yuri Boy has a hard head. He can take the punches, so now it may be more of a boxing match, or it may be a matter of how much can Oscar take in terms of which hand is hurt and how he's going to keep landing.
Which hand is it? We could probably tell by watching.
Probably the right. That's the hand he's had problems with in the past. So.
Well, I saw him right after that surgery he had. Before he had the surgery, he had this huge knot just below his fingers in the middle of the hand. So he has had surgery on one of those hands, and he is fighting a guy with a real hard head.
Real hard head, great big heart. Nice body shot by Oscar De La Hoya right up the middle. Campas trying to respond with a little bit of his own. And that's the best thing for Campas. Great uppercut.
Yes, that's where he wants Oscar to stand right there. That's not going to help Oscar.
He can keep him against the ropes. That's the only chance Yuri Boy has against Oscar. This is the fight that Campas wants.
Campas came prepared. Oscar's scoring with a jab.
The question is, can he absorb 12 rounds of this?
I don't think so.
Been in wars of attrition before against Daniel Santos for the title and other fights, so he's quit before, and I think that's what frustrates him, being peppered as he is by Oscar De La Hoya.
Bernardo was talking about that wars in March of last year in Vegas here for the vacant WBO Junior Middleweight Championship, and Daniel Santos had a war with Yuri Boy Campas. He lost the fight.
Mouthpiece comes out again, and a great combination of punctuate. Another excellent round for Vic Dracovic. Does the right thing not to take the point because
the round was ended.
And it was just a matter of him getting a pummel. It had nothing to do with trying to get him back. Breathe, please, is what Ramiro Quirarte.
Empezás a trabajar sin haber ninguna necesidad. Levanta la cabeza y motívate. Hacemos un trabajo para ganar.
We worked hard to
No tenemos que estar haciendo. No tenemos que estar haciendo.
We don't need to let him come off the way he's coming off, and that's what Ramiro Quirarte is talking about. The great combinations that Oscar De La Hoya is throwing. And here, Yuri Boy gets a little something back with the body punches, but always a response from Oscar. Quick punches and precision punches.
Derechazo abajo y el cuerpo. Es momento de que se suelte, señor.
It's time for you to let loose.
Ese posicionador lo está soltando, nos van a quitar puntos. Dicen que no es el tuyo, porque lo estás soltando y lo estás masticando. Cierra la boca. ¿Entendiste? Cierra la boca.
You don't close your mouth, so they're really on him in the corner. Ramiro Quirarte is putting a sense of urgency, lighting a fire under Yuri Boy Campas.
Romulo is a legend in Mexico. His trainer, senior, of course, junior's in there as his cut man, and it's a family affair. Huh?
Roberto's also in there.
Roberto's in there, the whole family. Of course, Joe Chavez is Oscar's cut man tonight. He hopes he won't have to use him. Round 5 scheduled for 12. Oscar really going to work. Hard shots left and right, up top. He worked up and down the body, and he's looking to take this guy out.
Campas started with a great right cross, but then unanswered series of 7-8 punches by Oscar De La Hoya. Just can't give Oscar a chance to come off like that. He's going to pick you apart like he has been doing for the first 4 rounds. This is the 5th round of a 12-round affair. But I don't see it going 12 rounds if Campas can't get something going.
Well, if Campas doesn't get anything going, they won't let him come out of the corner. If he keeps taking this amount of punishment, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
He was well under the waist a couple of weeks ago when I went to Tijuana to interview him. He was well within 6-7 pounds of the limit. He had no problems making 153, so you can't say it's the weight. It's just been the work of Oscar De La Hoya during these first 4 rounds that have just taken him out.
De La Hoya's got a tremendous reach advantage. He's taken advantage of that fact quite handily, but there he backs up. Yoy Boy backing him up with the left hand, but not a real effective punch.
Limited in his boxing skills as Yoy Boy Campas always has a punching stance, but against an intelligent fighter such as Oscar De La Hoya, who keeps moving laterally, who keeps peppering you with that jab and keeps doing that, it's just a long night for the man from Sonora, Mexico.
I think Oscar has shown more versatility in his last 2 fights. I think he fought, and he admitted it, not a very smart fight against Shane Mosley, and lost that one in Los Angeles. He went in trying to knock out a guy who has great movement and great defensive skills and really couldn't catch Mosley. But he's working on more of a repertoire at the age of 30.
And you know what? That's when they say a fighter matures. I mean, he gets into his zone. He's already filled in his body. Oscar was basically growing from a lightweight and up, and he's just landing power punches.
Power punches. Yoy Boy's backing up against the ropes now. Oscar really unloading. Going to the body, looking to finish up. Now he's going to back out of there. Yoy Boy's hurt. There's a hard right to snap his head back. Vic Draculic's watching Yoy Boy carefully. He has not been able to counter anything Oscar's given him in this fight.
And I just don't understand why, if you're getting pummeled, he just doesn't throw something. That's the formula for Vic Draculic to step in and stop this fight. If Yoy Boy Campas doesn't keep throwing punches, he's going to be stopped in this 5th round.
He landed a little body punch right there. Final seconds to 5th round. Another huge round for Oscar De La Hoya. Campas is a hard man to deal with. Always has been.
Campas just keeps on coming at you. And he's over in the corner, and Floyd Mayweather's going to talk to Oscar, but I think the interest is going to be in the other corner to see what they're saying.
Right here, Oscar. You're looking beautiful, baby. You're looking beautiful.
Control. Así por todos lados. That's all he's got. Okay, that's it.
Water.
Más cerradito todos.
That's a confident corner.
You got to keep it tight, says Joel. Relax.
You're looking sharp, man. You're looking sharp. Keep that up.
See how the barrage of punches by Oscar after the right hand by Yoy Boy Campas, he really made him pay. That jab, then to the body, then the uppercut, a right cross. I mean, you couldn't diagram it any better in the gym.
No, he went up and down on him.
If you put pads on your hand, he couldn't hit him as perfectly as he's landing on Yoy Boy Campas.
Yoy didn't throw an effective punch. Maybe one body shot that entire round.
They're really slow to get out in the corner. Romulo Quirarte really thinking about it before he gets out of that ring.
Round 6, scheduled for 12. The champion, Oscar De La Hoya, has thrown a shutout so far. Comes out behind the jab. Floyd Mayweather liking what he sees in there.
That's for a no-hitter, really. Yoy Boy Campas is just standing there and taking this type of punishment.
And Vic Draculic is looking in very closely at Yoy Boy.
Take this into account with an admitted hurt hand by Oscar De La Hoya since the 3rd round. He's still inflicting this type of punishment on Yoy Boy Campas.
Well, you got no choice. You have to go forward and deal with that later. It sure does hurt, though. There's nothing more painful than a fighter having to fight with a wounded hand. We'll ask him about it later. Yoy Boy is flicking the jab out there. Actually landed one, but Oscar's countering back with 2 jabs of his own.
You go jab to jab with Oscar De La Hoya. 99% of the fighters out there are going to lose that battle. So Campas needs to throw some power punches. He needs to really put Oscar against the corner for a while. Maybe Oscar's breathing through the mouth a little bit right now. If he's a little winded, that's when he takes advantage. But nope, it's too much from Oscar De La Hoya.
Campas stands there and takes it. Low blow.
Intentional at all. Oscar just kind of smiles.
Well, if it had landed quick flush, there would have been no smile. I can tell you that.
Campas taking a fight to Oscar, but he's even too exhausted to land. I mean, this is the fight that he needs to do.
Oh, good combination to the head. Oscar putting on a show for the fans now.
Oscar's giving him the chances, just Campas is not taking.
Another right hand.
that he can take that punch. What's going to happen here? There goes a deduction.
1 point.
There it is.
1 point. 1 point. Keep that in your mouth. Get over in the neutral corner. Get over the neutral corner.
It's hard. He's having trouble just keeping his teeth in his mouth.
All right? Right down.
Much less the mouthpiece, Bernardo.
It's because those jabs and those counters are just working impressively by Oscar De La Hoya. And Oscar keeps moving around the ring. He's in great condition for this fight. He's ready to fight 12 rounds if need be, but I don't see how long Yuri Boy Campas can take this type of punishment. Nice uppercut by Campas, but every time he does something, Oscar has an answer.
Yuri Boy waving off, shaking off all those punches, his face beginning to swell up from the barrage he's absorbed.
Nice uppercut, man. This is a fight that Campas has to pursue. He can't just have him up against the ropes, he has to punish him.
Oscar continuing to fire combinations. We're near the end of round 6. Oscar looking to land the big one.
Nice left hook by Oscar, then the right. And what a way to finish off this 6th round, which is undoubtedly a 10-8 because of the point deduction. You see the face of Yuri Boy Campas, no blood miraculously yet. They need the mouse to bring down the inflammation because that jab's working. He wants a towel as well.
Cierra la boca.
Close your mouth.
Si te decides hacer las cosas, estás haciendo mucho daño. Tenemos que tratar de sacar el coraje con el que trabajamos tanto. Hazlo por tu familia, por tus hijos, por ti mismo. ¿Sabes qué? No estás sacando nada que no hayamos practicado en el gimnasio. Si te manejas para atrás, te vuelvo a repetir lo mismo, con la mano para atrás.
But when you're going up against that, it's just hard to... I don't think anybody in the gym can do that to Yuri Boy the way Oscar's doing it to him tonight here at the Mandalay Bay Event Center. And here we see from another angle, it's just too much Oscar De La Hoya, even when he's got his back against the ropes. Just not enough Yuri Boy Campas. He just can't get off in time to avoid the barrage of Oscar De La Hoya.
They touch gloves going to round 7, scheduled for 12. Oscar De La Hoya wearing black. I think that's like velour, don't you think, today?
Velvet action.
Some velvet, I don't know. Red trim, very nice. Yuri Boy Campas in the red trunks with the green trim. It's been all Oscar. Dominating fight. The one thing he hasn't done is knock Yuri Boy out.
Or down.
It's hard to knock him down.
I recall that Trinidad fight, almost knocking his head off. But, you know, that's what Oscar wants to prove, that he's better than the man who handed him his first defeat. And he's got to do something spectacular against Yuri Boy. But it's not easy. He's not an easy fighter to knock out. And he's an easy fighter to hit, but he can just take so many punches.
Well, he's been in there now. This is his 86th professional fight. He just landed a punch. So you've got to have a lot of durability. And by the way, he's only 1 year older than Oscar. It just seems like he's been around longer.
Well, this is his 428th professional round. I mean, that's incredible. For a fighter his age to have already fought 420-something rounds. Man.
Well, he's fought some of the same people Oscar fought. Lost to Fernando Vargas. That went 7. Lost to Obakar. Yes, he learned that. If Oscar stands there, that's the only way that Yuri Boy can do any damage. They kind of slowed down here in the 7th round, to tell you the truth.
I think Oscar...
Oh, good solid right hand. And also, Yuri Boy lost to Trinidad.
He's telling you no, not tonight, but man, he just keeps avoiding that punishment. Now what? Another time the mouth protector comes out.
Start taking the points off again. Go.
And no matter which one they put in there, it just keeps coming out because of punishment. And the fact that he's breathing hard through the mouth, they just combine for a bad formula. Right hand by Oscar De La Hoya.
Boy, Campas can take a shot.
He's a natural 154-pounder. This is where he prefers to fight. He's been up to 160-something, 170 even, has Campas in the ring. But this time he took his conditioning seriously. You can see it in his body, probably as trim as we've seen him since the Trinidad fight, to tell you the truth. But look, the mouthpiece is out already, so a crisp punch by Oscar, and the last thing he can afford to do is keep giving away points out.
Exactly.
Oscar's taking him on his own, much less if you give him to him.
Well, Oscar's beating him up pretty good tonight.
Rounding up. 1-2. And that's it. Romulo Quirarte sends the doctor up in the corner, and it's going to be a TKO in the 7th round victory for Oscar De La Hoya, who's disappointed that he couldn't finish him off himself.
They did the right thing. I was waiting for that stoppage. You know, Yuri Boy's got to keep earning and making paychecks, and he's not going to win this fight tonight doing what he's doing.
There's absolutely no
Oscar's frustrated he didn't get to finish the fight. But Floyd's telling him, hey, you know, you did enough.
This is basically the 4th time, Alan, in big fights that Yuri Boy Campas is good. There's Millie.
There's Millie.
She loves him. We love her too, because she's really set him straight and put him back on track in terms of his boxing career. And what a great influence she's been on Oscar De La Hoya. And there you see 2 great warriors, 2 Mexican warriors, 2 gentlemen of the ring inside. And there's a man who wants another shot at Oscar De La Hoya. And you listen to it.
The crowd's booing him, and he's got a big smile on his face, Fernando Vargas. Well, you know, if they can get... It's possible if you get 1 million buys in a $50 fight at home that they would do it again, because they had 800-something thousand, as I know. Here's some of the action, Bernardo Osuna, and it was the same pattern throughout. It's just that Romulo, you know, he knew this his fighter didn't need to take all this punishment.
It wasn't a matter of how, but when. We knew it had to be stopped because Yuri Boy, in all honesty, Alan, I don't think he was going to go down, but it was just not worth taking this type of beating anymore. Like you said, there's always a tomorrow. There's always a chance to keep making a living at this sport. And you know what? He got a great payday tonight, and he didn't defraud anyone. He went in there, gave it his all. With his limitations as a boxer, we knew what we were expecting from him. We got what we expected from him. He took a lot of punishment, and there you go. The best man won tonight. Why? Being intelligent and taking the fight to the man who had no mobility and no boxing.
Now, here's the question. Did De La Hoya get what he needed out of this fight in preparation for a fight in September? Here's the announcement.
Referee Victor Drakulich, seeing that the challenger's corner was stepping up to call a halt to the fight on their own, stopped this contest at 2 minutes and 54 seconds of round number 7. The winner, and still the unified WBA, WBC junior middleweight champion of the world, El Niño de Oro, the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya.
Wincing in pain, if I'm not mistaken, was Oscar De La Hoya when the belt was over his shoulder. So
maybe it was his shoulder that was hurt. I thought some of his body language indicated to me that maybe he was hurt. My question I was going to ask is, did he get enough out of this fight? Because he didn't want to be idle and go into September fight with Sugar Shane Mosley. So do you think he got enough work in this fight to prepare him? Look at Yuri Boy's face. That's a face of a boxer.
You know, he got work, but it's not something he couldn't have done in the gym without getting hurt. And here we're going to take a look at why the barrage of punches from Oscar De La Hoya resulted in the TKO stoppage by the corner. Romulo Quirarte taking care of his fighter, of Yuri Boy Campas. He's disappointed, but he really can't dispute the fact that he was taking the beating of his life. And Romulo Quirarte has always been a safety-first type of manager. He took care of Yuri Boy to plan on the future. And I see Larry Merchant is ready inside the ring to speak with the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya.
We talked extensively during the fight about the fact that you weren't using your left hand with any real power, it seemed, and now I see you wincing as they take off your gloves. What happened? When did it happen?
Well, I never wince, you know that. But well, this guy has a hard head. The first shot that I threw it solid, and it landed with my closed fist, but he's got a hard head.
So what does that mean? Do you think it strained your wrist or a tendon in your hand? Do you think it's broken?
I don't think it's broken because I can move it, but there's a sharp pain. But this happens all the time to fighters. I think going to see Dr. Daly and taking some rest, recuperating the hand, just throw more right hands the way I was doing tonight.
So you don't think that whatever happened to the hand would endanger a fight in September?
Oh, no. That's a fight I want. That's a fight where I will be at my best, and I will, believe me, Shane, I will get you.
Were you at your best tonight? What on a scale of 1 to 10?
1 to 10, probably like a 7, maybe, because see what happens is when you fight guys who are slower than you, you sometimes tend to slow down to their level. That happens a lot of times, but I'm not using no excuse. The only excuse I have is my left hand that bothered me just a bit, so I couldn't throw it that much.
So was this just a nice public workout that made a few dollars for you?
This was a real fight. I mean, this guy's a game fighter. I mean, this guy's a veteran. He can take a punch. My goal was to knock him out, but I kept on hitting him with right hands. I threw uppercuts and to the body. He just wouldn't go down. He was in good shape.
What does it mean to you that in a fight like this, in which the media has all gone along and said, yes, this is a tune-up or a mismatch, you still drew such a large crowd?
Thanks to all my team. Thanks to my skill, I think I deserve some kind of credit because talent does have to do with a lot. And to my team, my promoter, my trainer, my brother, everybody, my buddies, Rob, everybody, they all make it happen. And it's not just me up in the ring, but the whole setup, everything, you guys, everybody just makes it happen.
So that aside from a workout, aside from this is your profession, you like to be on the stage. You don't want to be off the stage too much.
I love it. I mean, this is what I do best. And but watch out, because Golden Boy Promotions is coming too.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a few years. Thank you very much. Jim?
Okay, there you have it. He did indeed hurt the left hand. We'll have to see what the doctors say about it. And let's go back to HBO and hear from Shane Mosley right now, because that's the big fight coming up.
How awkward does it feel rooting for the guy whom you're going to fight in a few months?
It's a little awkward, but I wanted, I was actually hoping that Yoy Boy would get in there and use his head like he did and maybe hurt De La Hoya's left hand or right hand or something. But he hurt his hand, and De La Hoya won the fight, and we're going to get ready and train and get ready for this fight.
He says that he hurt his left hand and that he doesn't think it will threaten his engagement with you on September 13. Advantage Mosley?
I think it'll be a little bit of advantage, but De La Hoya's going to be working hard. I'm definitely going to be working hard, and he's going to have a spectacular fight.
All right, the preceding fight took place a few years ago and in a lower weight class at 147 pounds. I think you're both different fighters now. First of all, in what ways is he different based on what you say?
Well, I mean, I see a little bit more movement from him. He's boxing a lot more. He's not really attacking. And basically, that's the difference of the fight with De La Hoya. But it's really not much different. It's still De La Hoya. He's still the same fighter to me. He did a little bit of shoulder movements, but it's the same De La Hoya.
How are you different than you were a few years ago? And how will you be different moving up again in weight to 154?
Well, I'm a little different, but I think I was different more for the worse, and now I'm going to change back to the old things I used to do, and give De La Hoya what he's seen the first night as a welterweight.
It was a boxing match the first time around, although a spirited, aggressive boxing match. You basically beat him, throwing more punches, more fluid combination punching, maybe better stamina too down the stretch. How will this fight be different than its predecessor?
Well, I have to do those same things. I have to have my stamina up. I have to have a lot of quick punches, and use my speed and my knowledge of the ring to get in there and beat De La Hoya.
All right, Shane. We'll look forward to seeing you on September 13th.
Thank you.
Okay, Bernardo Osuna, I really believe that would be that's a tougher fight out there than if Felix Trinidad came out of retirement. I think Oscar beat Trinidad the first time, and this is the one fight he's got to get past if he wants to solidify his legacy. Oscar says he can do it next time, and I didn't see any concern from Sugar Shane Mosley at all based on what he saw tonight against Yoy Boy Campos.
But then we've seen the decline also of Sugar Shane Mosley, in all honesty. And Oscar De La Hoya, the question is his hand. How badly did it hurt his hand? He obviously hit at will against Luis Ramon Yoy Boy Campos tonight. Campos was just outgunned, outmanned by the superior boxer. That will not be the case against Sugar Shane Mosley, and that's what Oscar has to prove. He has to vindicate himself. There's no shame in losing. The greats always come back and beat the man who beat them. And that's a chance Yoy Boy will never get against Oscar, because I don't think anybody wants to see this type of beating again.
I can't remember a fight where Oscar threw fewer left hands in this one, so there's definitely something up. We'll have to catch up with him later on tonight. Maybe I'll talk to him and find out what's going on with that hand, because I'm very curious. But he had been working on developing a right hand, but his real hard knockout punch is the left one.
And he's going to need that against Sugar Shane Mosley. He can't work without the jab, which is his left hand, and if it's hurt, then it may not come off in September. He's adamant that he wants it to happen. It's obviously the fight that he wants, but you know what? Oscar's a smart fighter, and if he's not at 100%, I don't think we'll see that fight happen in September. If it doesn't happen in September, will it ever happen? I don't know. It seems like Oscar would have the cards all in his favor, but in a way, Mosley's the guy who beat him. Mosley's the guy who says yes or no, and if it doesn't happen in September, we not get a chance to see it.
Well, it's scheduled for September here in Las Vegas. We can't